Hello and welcome to the 8th and penultimate episode of my Pokemon Uranium series. Last thing we did, of course, was defeating the 7th gym. Nothing happened story-wise, really, in that one. And nothing really happened story-wise in this one. So, not a lot happening. They're kind of building it up for the ending, I suppose. But as you saw in the last one, we got Mega Evolution, and Theo seems to have made a shift to being a more mature person. That's about all we've really seen so far. Okay, so now he's talking about the new gym, and it's ninjas. Remember the surfer ninjas? It's where they reside. Their clan. And apparently it's two clans that are always warring with each other, and then one member from each side fell in love and ended up uniting the clans. You know, Romeo and Julio, Coolio, Romeo and Juliet stuff. You know, no biggie there. So we're about to run into a lot of ninja stuff. I was thinking I'm gonna do Final Fantasy 13. That's what I'm gonna do. So I was thinking, you know, how should I break it up? You know, because with Pokemon there's gyms. It's really simple. And so I don't know how I'm gonna break up Final Fantasy 16. What am I talking about? Final Fantasy 13. I don't know how I'm gonna break it up because the game's long. The game's long. It's like, you know, an RPG. RPGs are long. So, like, I can't do it by chapters. The chapters are vastly different. You know, like, early game, a chapter may take like an hour. Late game, you may be on the same chapter for like 4 hours. So I can't really do it like that. And so I was thinking, maybe I should just play and beat the game or whatever, and then break that footage up into chunks, like evenly distributed chunks. But I don't think that would work out too well, because I feel like I would have to break up certain sections that it wouldn't flow right if I broke those sections up. So maybe, I don't know, because like the fighting, I'll just speed up through that. But the thing is, a lot of the fighting in 13, the battles last like a minute maybe. So I can't just speed up the fight. I'd have to speed up walking around. But the characters talk the whole time you're walking around, kind of like a interactive cutscene. And the music's wonderful throughout the whole game. Its soundtrack's probably one of the best Final Fantasy soundtracks I've ever heard. So I don't know how to split it. I suppose I'll play, and then when something happens that feels like a moving on point, that's where I'll stop it. Or should I do it by bosses? Because when you defeat a boss, it levels up your Crystarium. I probably mispronounced that, but maybe I didn't. It levels that up, and then that's kind of like your limiter. So there's like a set strength you could technically get to, and until you beat a certain boss, you can't get any stronger. So maybe I could limit it to that, because that's like the definite way to tell that you've progressed through the game. So maybe that. I don't know. I'll just play it by ear. I'll figure it out. Speaking of Final Fantasy 16, they just released 20 minutes or so of gameplay for the game. I mean, as you would expect, it looks great. I'm definitely going to get it. I mean, they could have literally showed like nothing, and I would have got it anyway. I love Final Fantasy. But 13 is one of my favorites. And 13 was the second game to have a sequel in the Final Fantasy series, because 10 had one. And its sequel, 13-2, is really good as well. But it is pretty different. Because I don't know if you ever played Final Fantasy X or its sequel. Its sequel, 10-2, was pretty different compared to the original, and 13-2 is the same way. So the actual fighting is the same, but instead of having, you know, a litany of partners like you do in every Final Fantasy game, in 13-2 you only have 2 members. And so to balance it out, you actually like capture, in a way, like Pokemon, you capture your enemies, and then you can use them, train them, teach them stuff, you know, just like Pokemon. And so it was really fun. I was like, oh man, like I honestly like it just as much as 13. But then they decided, I don't know what made them decide this, because I had always heard that 13 and 13-2 didn't do well compared to 10 and 12. Maybe I was just thinking about critically, but those were the games I never heard anyone playing, or the other ones everyone played them. So I just assumed they didn't do well, but yet they made 2 sequels. Now 13-3, Lightning Returns or something. Terrible. I hated that game so much. Lightning's like my favorite character from the series. And so she was the main character again, which is cool. But I hated the gameplay. So instead of having partners at all, you're just by yourself. And how they like break up gameplay is you can change your outfit, and it changes like your abilities. But Final Fantasy X-2 did the same thing. You changed your outfit, which changed what your class was. So you change in this outfit, you have these spells, these attacks, these stats, and so on. So not only was it a retread, in my opinion, but it didn't make sense for her character either. Like, she wasn't the type of person who would even care what she was wearing or anything. And so it just really felt, I don't know, kind of fan servicey. Like, we have this woman character we made who has become somewhat of an icon visually. People like what she looks like. So let's just have that character dress up in all these fancy outfits. But I don't know, it seemed weird to me. But besides that, the gameplay itself was not fun. I did not enjoy it. So I'm not going to play that one, definitely. But yeah, so I'm excited to play 13. I have a bunch of mods I downloaded that replaces all the cutscenes with full HD versions of the cutscenes, because the game originally came out for PS3, so it was like 720p. And it actually has a limiter. When you play it on PC, it like limits what the graphics can be. You can't just like set them up a certain point, like other PC games. But if you install a mod, it allows you to. But I already have all those mods and stuff installed, so we're good. I'll see if there's any neat new ones. I might see if there's any cool ones to download. But other than that, yeah, it should be good. What else? What else? Yeah, the music's so good. I really don't want to fast forward anything, but I know that the it'd be like a 40-part thing, each an hour long, if I didn't split it up. If I didn't speed it up, excuse me. So like I gotta speed it up. So I think I'll just speed up everything that isn't a boss fight or a cutscene. The thing is, though, there's a lot of cutscenes, which is one of the things people complained about, is that it had a bunch of cutscenes. So there's going to be a lot of just watching cutscenes, but they're really pretty. They're pretty cutscenes. I remember it was my freshman year at college when I got the game for PS3. And at this point, the best looking game I had played on PS3 was probably probably like Haze. I don't know if you remember that first person shooter. It's probably Haze. You know, because I couldn't play like every game I wanted to play at that point. But when I turned this game on, it looked so pretty. I was like, how did they get the graphics so good? And it just blew me away. And then there's this part, it starts raining, and you're alone with just two characters. You only have two characters on your team. It starts raining, and you're running through this like barren area. There's really nothing there. It's kind of like a junkyard. And this music just starts coming in, this orchestral music. And it's called like Prelude of the Juggernauts or Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts. It's called like something of the Dreadnought. Dance, Raindrops. I don't know. I can't 100% remember. But it just blew me away. I literally just like set my controller down and just listened. Just looked at the beautiful scenery and just listened to the music. It was amazing. And then fast forward many years, and I'm playing Final Fantasy 15, and in that game you drive a car, and the car has a radio, so you can listen to music while you're driving. And in the game you can unlock through various different ways more music. And at one point, I unlocked Final Fantasy 13 music. And the music was great. I was like, cool, cool, cool. And then, like, the fifth or sixth song, that orchestral music comes in again. It's that song. And I was like, oh, we're listening to this song on, like, repeat. I listened to it a lot. But it had, like, the old game music, too. Like, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and stuff. So, it was kind of cheating because you're just using your old music, but I would say the game had good music, you know. But yeah, that's what really hit me. Like, the story is the story every Final Fantasy game has. You start out as, you know, a ragtag group. Fast forward until you're eventually defeating God, or a proxy of God. That's it. I mean, that's what JRPGs are. You know, it used to be a derogatory term, I heard. I heard that a lot of Japanese developers hated being labeled as a JRPG, but the term has changed since then, where it's more of a style of game than a derogatory term. But apparently, it originally was derogatory to them, because they were like, you know, our games are varied and unique, and we don't want to be put in that label. But yeah, originally the term was that you're like a chosen hero, go through a story, and you end up like defeating God. That was a JRPG. Anything that was like religious or something was always like the bad guy. Not necessarily like religion equals bad. It was just like the stand-in for religion in many of those games was usually the bad guys ran that religion, right? And so that's what a JRPG was then. Now it's just more of a style. It's like if an RPG is long, grindy, more, what's the word? Like, not tactical, but something similar, more in depth with its style. That's usually what people, or at least I, consider a JRPG, a Japanese RPG. But yeah, I didn't even know that Japanese developers, A, were aware that their games were labeled like that, but B, that it was a bad thing, you know? Because honestly, I always just thought it meant it was a game that was an RPG that came from Japan. I didn't think it meant anything. It just made sense. Oh, you're playing an RPG. Oh, it's from Japan. It's a JRPG. But I guess if I really put my thinking cap on, you know, I don't remember any other game that came from any other country being labeled as like, oh, that's a German RPG. Like, no. But to be fair, I mean, Japan and America are the two leading game makers, so it wouldn't like I would even know if a game came from somewhere besides there or here. So I don't know. But yeah, I was actually reading a thing. May have been yesterday or the day before, and it was talking about how it used to be a derogatory term. You know what's funny though is when I was reading that and it was describing what the old term was for, you know, the chosen, you know, all the tropes. I remember that Persona 5 is literally that. You're like a chosen one, and in the end you defeat God. And I'm like, oh. Like, yeah, that's literally what it is. And then you start thinking, and you think about like every Final Fantasy game, you're like, oh, that's what you do, right? I mean, it's not always like you're a chosen one, you know, like for instance, Final Fantasy 13, there isn't a chosen one, right? There's like 8 chosen ones. But they ain't 8. They are not, well, I guess 8 works there. They ain't chosen because of any set of skills. It's like randomly you'll get this brand on you, and when that brand's on you, you have to do a certain thing in a certain amount of time or you'll turn into a monster. And if you do the thing before you turn into a monster, you get froze in the chrysalis. You become a crystal. And someday you'll be reawakened, but no one knows that day. Like, it could be eons from now. So, like, they were chosen, but they weren't necessarily chosen for any purpose outside of randomness. Like, if they failed, they just would have picked someone else. Which many enemies you fight are these people who had turned into monsters, and they're limitless, right? Because it's an RPG. I've only played one RPG ever where you could run out of enemies, and so if that's to be believed, then there's countless people who failed their endeavor and became monsters. So you're not really special. There was a video game, I think it was called Two Worlds? Two Worlds? That sounds right. It was for Xbox, and in that game, it was an RPG, and you could eliminate like every enemy. They didn't respawn, so it would take forever, but you could go through an area and just clear it out. There's no more enemies there. And I always wanted a big time game, like a really good RPG, to do that once, because I think that would be so cool, and make it like part of the story. Like, if you like, here's the ending, here's your rewards, but if you choose to go the extra mile and defeat everything, like, the story and world changes to reflect that. Like, what if you're like playing through the game and you're backtracking through places you've been before, like you do in any RPG, and not only is there no enemies, there's no sound, there's no music. It's just a barren, desolate waste. And these normally kind of vibrant towns and cities you went through are like becoming ghost towns because there's no like industry or business, or because it was all built around, you know, this balance of dangerous creatures. You defeat a few of them, the really dangerous ones defeat other, like you destroyed the whole ecosystem. I think that'd be a really interesting game to play. You know, because, you know, kind of like how Undertale has the genocide run, where every fight you got into, you killed your opponent instead of sparing them. But in that game, enemies are still infinite. But in that game, I feel like if doing the genocide run did that, like you just stopped running into enemies, that would have even pumped up what the meaning of doing that run is. Like the horribleness of the world doing that. I think would be interesting as well. You know, but that isn't what happened. But it's a great game regardless. But a game in that style would have been perfect for what I'm talking about, though. I watch a bunch of horror stuff on YouTube, and this one horror series I like, it doesn't have any jump scares, and it's literally on like season 4 now, so I've watched countless episodes, and the end of the new episode today had a jump scare at the very end. I was like, I trusted you. I gave you my trust and you betrayed it. But it was super effective because I wasn't ready for it. So I guess good job, but I was upset. I was like, you can't do that to me. I thought we were friends. I wasn't alone though. I looked at the comments and a lot of people were saying the same thing. Like, you can't do that. It wasn't even like a scary thing, really, like on surface. But it's just like you were so not ready for it that it was crazy. Like when internet first started becoming popular when I was a kid, and I'm sure when a bunch of you guys in the past were on the internet, you know, you would click on stuff and you never knew if what you clicked on was going to be what you thought it would be. And so you'd click on a thing and it's like, oh, let's watch this commercial. And the end of the commercial, a face jumps out at you. You know, it's scary. You know, but you got used to it. But specifically this series was so the antithesis of jump scares that it had like programmed me to be at ease. And you got to pay attention for like little details or you won't understand what's going on. And so you're really focused. So it really got you. For sure. I hope he doesn't pull that again though. Because like you got to build that anticipation for it again. Like don't do it again so quickly. But I mean he's real good at making these, so you know, whatever he decides I'm cool with. But yeah, so I got spooked this morning. Yeah, the young internet was the wild, wild west. You never knew what you were going to click on. And you're like 6 and 7, but yet you know way more about this stuff than your parents do. So like, even though it was filled with stuff that you shouldn't probably be looking at, they had no idea what was even possible to see on the computer. So it isn't like they really monitored what you were doing. And so we really just saw everything. It's pretty wild. You know, but now there's so many different sites that are just like, they just conjugate. That's probably not the word. That's probably not. It may be. They gather everything from around the internet and put it into like one thing. So, you know, most of social media, Reddit, 4chan, Tumblr, all those stuff is just, they scoop all the good or even bad parts from all over the internet and like put them in one location. So that exploratory phase of the internet doesn't really exist anymore. Like if you have a question or need something specific, you'll just like Google it. And so you don't really find any kind of crazy stuff anymore. Unless someone tells you about it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just remember, you know, you would just like type in a random thing and see if it was a website and it would take you somewhere. But yeah, you don't do that no more. You know, they discovered a new type of crab the other day, either today or yesterday or recently. It's a spiky crab. It looks like a sea urchin kinda, but it's a crab. Looks like this is the king and queen of this village. They're the ones who brought the village together. The queen is named Hanada, which is the name of a character from Naruto. And that's all the info I can give you. I don't know if her Pokemon have anything to do with her character in the anime. I have no idea. But the level 57 is her first Pokemon, so I assume her weakest is this, level 57. And if that's the case, we're in trouble. Because my strongest is like 53. And she used the max potion. What a loser. It's cool though that they have an old Pokemon. Oh, withdrew it. Oh, good thing I used a flying type move. Level 58? Oh man. Let me go first. Oh, okay, we're good. So, this won't be super effective, but the reason I switched is because Air Slash isn't 100% accurate, so I wanted to be sure I killed him. So, I didn't know what this was, so I switched, and I ended up messing up. I should have just kept the other guy out. Because this guy is that evolution of that egg Pokemon we hatched, and so he's grass electric. So I should have kept out my fire guy. But I suppose electric would have killed him. But if Chia's faster, I bet my guy would have been faster. And, you know, Chia has horrible moves. If I used Lava Plume, I'd have killed him. I'm pretty sure. Even though he's so much higher level than me. But I'm trying my best with Silverwind. You know, it has a rare probability of increasing your stats for the fight. And I was just hoping, you know, I have 5 attempts, maybe one of them will make my stats better. It did not. Yeah, I remember a rumor one of my friends told me when we were playing the older Pokemon games that if your stats go up during a battle with Ancient Power, they stay up. Meaning, theoretically, you could get that Pokemon to max stats if you just used it long enough. And even then, when you couldn't just check on the internet, I knew that wasn't true. You know? It's like, no, you're wrong. There used to be rumors like that all the time. I even participated in them. I remember I told my friends that so in Ruby and Sapphire, there was a Pokemon you could only get in an event, like you had to go to Japan or New York or something, and then you could get the Pokemon. Well, I told them that like I found the item in the game without going to the event, and I don't know why I said it. You know, but you're young, you say stuff. Especially back then, you know, because I moved a lot as a kid, moving around from place to place. And so I just found it easier to find friends, or at least acquaintances, if you just like made up a story, they would like you quicker. Like if they didn't ever find out it was fake and they believed it, then perhaps you were interesting enough to be friends with. I don't know why, but I remember doing that as a kid, like 10 years old. But you know, and the common Pokemon one that somehow we all knew and heard about, yet like I said, we didn't really use the internet like that yet. Like it existed, but we didn't use it like that. The Mew is under that pickup truck that you use strength on. That one. What other ones were there? Can't think of any more right now. But you know, it's just kind of weird. Like things like that happen. You know, like you can say something that theoretically you only should have experienced in your immediate area, because what spurred it on or what was the catalyst for it was unique to where you were, but yet you found out that like a similar thing happened like everywhere. And even though there wasn't really internet to perpetuate it, everyone had a similar thing happen to them in school. Like you bring up certain thing, I can't think of anything off the top of my head for the life of me, but they'd bring up a certain saying or thing you did as a kid, and then everyone from no matter where they're from, like, oh yeah, we did that, but we called it this or we called it that. But they still did the same thing. I thought that was so weird. You know, like what's that when you talk to the mirror? Bloody Mary, right? Like we all knew about Bloody Mary, but like, how did we all know about Bloody Mary? It's just weird how stuff perpetuated before the internet. Now if something happens, everyone knows about it, you know, 30 minutes later. Oh my god, I just got thrown through a sky JPEG. It killed me, as it would. Getting thrown through a JPEG ain't fun. So this Whimsicott is her ace. Has a mega evolution, which Whimsicott doesn't normally, so this is new. It's neat looking, I guess. It's obviously strong. It's messing me up. Hurricane. Oh, that's like a Windows XP screensaver. You know, with the clouds. Like it's just missing the little green hill. Yeah, she has a level 60 mega. I really don't know what to do. Hurricane is too strong of a move for me to do anything about. Like if I could get a hit off, you know, but she's just Hurricane. And let's see. I survived. Barely. Yeah, Ice Beam messed him up. So he's not gonna heal again because he's already healed. So I'm just gonna revive Geiger and use Quick Attack. We'll win. Not exactly the most eloquently, but we'll win. Oh, he missed anyway. I could have. Oh well. I guess I'll revive another just in case. We'll get Rojo. Hurricane won't be super effective to him. Giga Drain. Alright, let's Quick Attack. Go Boss Frog. He's dead. Let's choose the right one this time. There we go. Yeah, I'm using the controller instead of the computer keyboard. and sometimes I get lazy and use the joystick instead of the D-pad, but it's a 4-directional game, so there is no directions for that, so it doesn't really work that well. When you see me like not able to go through a door or walk straight, that's why. So I beat her. But oh, you have to immediately fight her husband? I can't even go heal or save? I'm in trouble. Everyone's dead. Alright, his name's Kaito. So, since the wife was named clearly for that anime character, I thought maybe this guy was. I typed in Kaito and typed in anime into Google, and it came up with this one anime where the main character's named Kaito. But I never heard of the anime before. That doesn't mean it's not popular, but it kind of means it's not that popular. I mean, I watch anime. But anywho, not important. So I don't know if this guy's a reference to that or not. I mean, because technically Hinata kind of looks like her. You know, she's wearing like geisha makeup, which Hinata doesn't. But Hinata has pale skin and dark hair. So, maybe. But like I said, I don't know. So, his weakest, possibly, is this Umbreon, and it's 57. Just like the Flareon was 57. But Umbreon's a much bigger problem than Flareon. If I could hit, it would be cool. Eh? Eh? Yeah. Oh well. This is gonna be tough. Before the Elite Four, I'm gonna go back to that researcher, the move tutor, and finalize my party's moves. I've been lazy and not doing it. Well, I just want the HM Fly, because getting around this world is tough. Like, you have to use the subway train, and it's just, I'm not familiar with this game, so trying to find my way to where I've been is not easy. Super effective poison touch. Great. Great. Wonderful. Not very effective. I'm just batting 1,000 right now. Wake me up. Wake me up inside. Good thing I had a carrot line left. What now? Max potion. Okay. Fair enough. I probably should switch out. I don't have anyone to switch out to. So let's revive someone. Who should we revive? Yeah, Rojo makes the most sense. Super effective. Alright, now let's heal Rojo. Oh, I messed up. I used it on a dead Pokemon. See? Joystick got me again. Wasted a turn. Let's do it right this time. Oh, see, it almost, see, it's trying to do it. That bastard. I lost like the weakest fighting move because I just wasted a turn. Well, the Geiger is faster, we'll kill him. Because I haven't seen anyone stand up to Hyper Voice. Yeah. Get wrecked. Okay, this is electric flying guy. No. This is dark something. Probably flying. Yeah, see what Geiger can do if we're fast. If we're faster, it's over. And then not steal. I know I'm faster than Embryo, but this won't be quadruple. It's only be single, super. Oh, did it matter? Get wrecked, son. Unlucky. Okay, so this should be his final, I think. Yeah, so this will be his Mega. So we're about to see a new Mega type. That's really cool. Oh no, Petrify makes me slower. No. That was like the worst scenario. Making me slower. And I don't know what type he is. Poison something. I assume. But we gotta revive because if he's able to one-shot Rojo with game, fuck it. Stay alive! Oh, barely. Oh man, yeah, we gotta revive someone. Let's just revive Geiger. Oh no, yeah, reviving a poison type, that makes sense. I wish I had Earthquake. That would be helpful. Knowing my luck, none of them can learn it. Now I gotta revive again. Get Spike. Noble heal. Boss Frog. And let's see how much Crunch does. That's really close to exactly half. Whew. That was close. I won't survive another one. Alright, time to heal. We just need to get an attack off. Heal again. Good thing I have all these items. Yeah, Geiger. Because I think Petrify only makes you slower once. It shouldn't make me slower again. I guess we'll see. Hey! Dude, I'm using 40 attack moves and winning. Geiger's OP, bro. Well, that's it for this one. There wasn't a whole lot to do in this one, but the entire game's culmination will be in the next video, so there should be a lot to talk about. We got the Zen badge, yin and yang. Well, that's it for this one. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.